Hello, investor community. My name is Liz. I'm one of the co-founders of the Real Estate Investor community and show and all the things we're doing right now, along with my partner in crime, Andressa. So excited to be on another live with all of you. Please share with us before I bring on my amazing co-host here tonight for our co-presentation here. It's really going to be a chat. It's going to be super casual. It's Friday evening. Hopefully you have a drink. That's a good thing. Or non-alcoholic. That's your thing. Whatever works for you. But I'm going to bring on Jonna here in a moment. I'm going to introduce her, but I would love to hear, as folks join us, as women join us, please say hello. I'd love to hear, where you're from and what you want to get out of tonight. Because like anything that you spend time doing, I don't know about you, but literally everything that I spend time doing, I want to, especially educational, I want to feel like I'm getting something from, and I really hopefully can give, right? There's always a giving and a getting with everything we do in our community. And so we want to make this time well spent. We want to have some fun, have a nice conversation about this topic of getting your real estate license. So yeah, as you join us, please say hello, and I'll give a little shout out to you. And thank you so much for being here tonight. And if you're watching this, thanks for watching this, and hopefully we'll give you some great content. So I'll get to it here. Without further ado, I want to bring on Jonna. Jonna started out as a very good friend, a very good colleague. I've known Jonna for about 6 years now, and we were on a mastermind together. Me, her, and Andressa, long before Investor, because we actually talked to them about this idea. So, hi, Alana, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Where are you from? Share with us where you're from, too. I always like to know where the women coming in are from and getting to know you, especially new names that I don't know yet. As our community grows, I love connecting with the women in our community. It's one of my favorite things that I do. So please share with us where you're calling in from. But anyway, I met Jonna 6 years, Toronto. Okay, very cool. We're growing in Canada, by the way. We have 3 meetups there, and we have 45 around the country and in Canada. And our goal is to have a meetup in every single geographical area, so women have local support to achieve their goals together. So that's one of our goals. But anyway, getting sidetracked. It's a Friday evening. I'm going to get very sidetracked this evening. But anyway, Jonna and I have known each other for some time, and during this time of getting to know each other, talk about someone's character and someone's their word and just what she stands for beyond all her success. She's an investor. She has been an agent for quite a number of years, and she moved over to EXP last couple of years. And we've watched her grow exponentially, and she has tons of folks that she's mentoring and building a team. She's in Idaho. She's an investor. She's a mom. She's an extraordinary person. And she's one of our partners, and I'll mention that in a moment. But excited to have her on tonight talking about the benefits of getting your real estate license, because there's a lot of people on 2 different camps, to get it, to not get it, so to speak. And we're going to talk about why to get it. And she's going to give us some great food for thought, hopefully. So, of course, I know she is. So I'm going to bring her on, and we're going to get into it here. Hey, Jonna.
All right. Hey, Liz. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday night. We're going to cling our drinks.
Virtually.
Yeah, virtually. It's funny because you and I have never physically met.
I was just explaining that to some other women I was on a call with today. I said, you're not going to believe it. We've never been in the same room together. It's crazy.
I know. I feel like I know you like I have been with you. Like totally. I'm like, I was like thinking about it. We're going to do the women's mastermind retreat, and COVID happened. So, but I'm sure we'll see each other very soon.
Next live event, I am there.
I know. I want to give you a big hug. And by the way, in terms of events, we have our virtual summit coming up. We have our annual summit. It's literally our annual event that we do. We don't do these every month. And hopefully next year will be live. It will be in person. That's our goal, to have like a national investor, international conference. But this year is going to be amazing in and of itself. It is June 12th. If you haven't heard, we are literally pouring ourselves into every detail and making sure this is going to be an amazing experience. John is going to be part of our team, helping lead masterminds. We're going to have accountability groups. We have women talking about business, investing, and of course, self-care. And our keynote is Lisa Nichols, who has been on The Secret. I don't know if you watched that video of her promo of just like what she's gonna be talking about, but I watched that. I'm like, I'm so excited to hear what she has to say about fear, and just, it's gonna be amazing. So please check that out. It's on our website, therealestateinvestor.com, if you haven't heard about /level up. Without further ado, I'm so excited to have Jonna on. We're going to talk about the 5 reasons, about the reasons to have a real estate license. And Jonna's very active in Bigger Pockets, and she is a partner of ours. We have recently, if you haven't heard, started an arm of our business where we're building out InvestHer EXP team. So we're really excited about this because it's such a natural connection, investors and agents. And I'm not an active agent. Andressa obviously got her, ability to get her agent, become an agent again, so we can do this venture with Jonna. But she's she's our partner in this venture because she is such an active agent, and she's literally grown her business. In 12 months, she's actually doubled her business in 12 months, which is very, very impressive. So she knows what she's doing, and she's like our partner in this venture. So I'm really excited for her to share some of her knowledge with all of you tonight, which is our goal, and obviously our point in everything we do. So what did I not mention about you that you want to share?
You got it. You're great. I just got excited just hearing about myself.
I know, right? I can keep going.
No, it's great. I got tired thinking about that year I doubled my business in 1 year. But no, it's great. It's such a pleasure. I love this community. It's such a pleasure to be a part, and it's like a tribe of women, and to be able to connect. And I just want to squeeze all your necks and get to know everybody more. And it's just like, I know for me, I'm speaking, it's my people, and I just appreciate that. I was an investor way before I ever thought of getting a real estate license. So hence the topic tonight.
Yeah, I love it because it is such a hot topic. And there's a lot of threads that I read in our community. Should I get my license? Should I not get my license?
Totally.
And and then there's a lot of pros and cons. I never got my license. And when my husband and I we started investing 15 years ago. When I was 5. No, I'm joking. That was bad joke. Friday night, I'm going to say a lot of bad jokes. That was a really bad joke. But anyway, he got his license. And so we just kind of divided. Yeah, we divided and conquered. And then he let it lapse, and then we, never re-upped it. But there are a lot of advantages, and there's a lot of people who say, don't ever get it. So I'd love to pick your brain. Because there's a lot of value to it, and I can see both sides. What would you say is like the first one that you would share in terms of what is a good reason? What's an important reason to get your license?
Well, that's probably stating the most obvious reason that a lot of people think about getting it is just simply for personal use. And as my husband and I, we were building up a small portfolio when during the recession, when the numbers were low, and we dragged I think about my agent, who's still a friend to this day, and we dragged her all over town looking for those deals. Yeah. Investigating, like we do. We ran our numbers. I think about the ones we turned away that were so silly to turn away now, right? Because of the pricing at that time. But we put her through a lot of work, and a lot of times we felt bad because we knew we just were curious. And we wanted to explore everything, get into every home, and for everyone, I had to call her for access, whether it was a Sunday evening or, late in the day and that sort of thing. And she was an amazing agent, bless her heart. She went everywhere with us. But we wanted that idea of just being able to go at our leisure and run our own comps, find out the second things came on the market, a lot of just practical things that come with being an agent that enable us to have access. So that was one primary reason that we actually even put that little inkling in our minds about myself getting the license on behalf of my husband and I. And it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people if they are actively looking at a lot of properties.
So you originally got your license for the pure fact of using it selfishly.
Convenience.
So tell me, so now I'm curious.
There's a couple points, and I'll get to another point, another reason I got my license, but it wasn't to become a mega agent by any means. And we were primarily investors, and so personal use. And then of course, with that, the savings of commission pocketing that compensation, that's another advantage. Sometimes if you're an investor and you're looking to rehab or put some paint and carpet in a house in a rental before you do it, that's very useful to be able to utilize those savings in order to be able to put that money back into your own investment.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because when Matt got his license, we were starting, and then he let it lapse. So then we really got our flips going. Our fix and flip kind of business, although that was always like a part-time job. Our rental business was more of our focus.
Right.
And that's a whole other story for another topic, another learn lesson piece of just the focus in your business. But my point in sharing that is when he let it lapse and we were still building our rental portfolio, in hindsight, we really should have had a real estate license. I should have gotten mine, and I think about that now. I'm like, that would have been really helpful for us. And I would have actually been really good at it. We missed that opportunity.
Oh, no doubt.
I think as investors, we are like, we're just investors and we have like these blinders on. And I always like to say to people, you got to know your goals. Like, where do you want to be in 1, 3, 5 years? But, passive income doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you just like buy one building and you're making like 10 grand a month. It just doesn't happen that way. I don't know anyone that's happened for. So if you want to build your passive income and you want to get to that building of the wealth side of the business, active business, wholesaling, flipping, being an agent, that is what it is. It's something, but it's a nice active income, passive income to be able to have those like diversification. I think about that. Matt and I talk a lot about what we could have done better. And one of the things we always talk about is that one of us really should have had an active license through most of our kind of like as we got going and through our projects of flips. Now our focus is larger multifamily, right? So it doesn't make sense for me, right?
Yeah.
But I love the idea for our community and I love the idea of it. So it's interesting. Don't dismiss it. Yeah. I think there's put in a lot of value there.
I would say preface, if you're looking at a lot of homes, if you're making, multiple purchases, there's a lot of instances, because I don't want to discount, obviously as an agent, I don't want to discount the value of utilizing your awesome realtor. But if you're actively, this is your full time. And if you're also, well, that leads me to another point. I don't want to, I can go right into it if you want.
Yeah, you go for it.
But another part, and this is kind of, number 2 out of these points, the reason that we actually started and I did get my license designation is it really helped me get on the path to right away get that professional, what's it called? I just went blank. Become a real estate professional in the eyes of tax. And I'm not a CPA. I'm not telling you what you can do or not do and all of that sort of thing. But I've even heard Amanda Hahn on your podcast reference, being a real estate professional and having that designation, and it's got to be legit, and you've got to be putting in the hours and education and learning the industry as a real estate professional. And so it was a natural for me, and my husband still does have great W-2 income. And it was our accountant CPA was really encouraging of me getting my real estate license in part for that reason. So that combined with just the ease of use, and since we were purchasing ourselves, it just made sense. And I was teaching school part-time at the time and making very little money. And then I thought, well, gosh, if I did one sale a year for somebody else, I would basically make my income.
What were you teaching? So, I'm curious what you're teaching.
3rd grade.
I can totally see I didn't know that you were a teacher. I can totally see you as a teacher. You'd be a great teacher.
Extent, but yeah, I love the kids. I didn't like having a boss.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I hear you. I love teaching too. Not kids though, because I'm a horrible teacher. But except my own sometimes. No, that's neat though. That's a good second reason. And I think it does come back to as people, as women, ladies watching this, women listening to this, you have to kind of say where do I want to be? What do I want to do? And does this kind of get me to my goals faster? I don't think that's a question that gets asked enough versus like, should I get it? Should I not get it? Well, okay, that's a great question. It's not actually the first question, because if it's the first question, you're not going to do the kind of inner work that needs to happen of like, how is this going to benefit me in the goal that I want and where I want to be? I think if we had asked ourselves that question, I would have probably done a different thing, but hey, you learn lessons.
I have a sign on my office that says, don't look back. You're not going that way. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Forward. All right. So what's 3? What's number 3 for?
The 3 is, let's see, how do I want to say this? We were talking about like when I was looking about how I could match my income and maybe increase my income if I just did one sale a year. Well, that's exactly what we did. So one reason that I would encourage people to think about getting their real estate is not just for their own savings and their own time savings, but also think about using real estate sales. If you learn how to do some real estate sales, even on a part-time basis, you can utilize that commission to further your investing journey. So in our instance, what we did, because I was really blessed. My husband had a job, so I didn't immediately need to put 100% of my income towards household expenses. I generated those commissions, and then we were in turn able to utilize those commissions to put down payments on more rental properties. And so a lot of people talk about wholesaling to get to that point, to be able to generate that extra income. But for me, because it came pretty natural. I'm a people person, get out there and learn how to sell some houses. I liked real estate anyway. It's not as easy as it sounds just by that, but by just like anything else, you put a concerted effort into it, you're going to have some sales. And I use those commissions for down payments on rentals that we still have today. And so I would like people to consider the idea of generating some sales as a part-time gig. It is so much more lucrative than driving an Uber. Dave Ramsey talks about driving Uber, deliver pizzas, or all these part-time savings. And it can be not even to that point. It could be maybe you want to get out of debt. Maybe you want to pay off your student loans. There are so many possibilities that could drive someone to generating part-time income. And I can't think of, there's very few vehicles that allow you to go to 2 to 3 weeks of school, put in a couple $1,000 investment to generate something, a vehicle that you could potentially have 6-figure income. It's a pretty amazing opportunity.
Has there been, since COVID, I'm curious if it's not it's related, but and I know it's not one of the key reasons. Has there been statistics shown since COVID has begun, the amount of like agents, I guess getting their license compared to like year before? Like I would imagine there's got to be some sort of increase because people are watching this hot market, right? I'm curious. Have you seen that?
I don't have like a specific number to share with you at this minute, but my partner at EXP, Tim Harris, does. He was sharing that just like maybe 2 weeks ago on his podcast and talking about how the numbers are just exploding. And they were stagnant for a while because a lot of the states, and they still are, a lot of the states are behind on their testing. So people have taken the classes virtually and they're waiting to take their tests. So I think it's continuing to really, really grow in the next 12 months. And I know personally, my husband owns a restaurant and bar. Like three employees at the restaurant have now gotten their license.
That's
in
great.
the last 12 months.
Awesome.
And I'm getting calls out of the woodwork all the time. People, all kinds of industries thinking of getting their license. It's not easy. It's easy to get your license, but here's one reason not to get your license. How's that? Can I say this?
There we go. Ooh, getting crazy. It's a Friday night. I'm going to blow my nose.
Don't get your license because the market's hot and it's easy to make sales right now.
That's a really good point.
I have never had it. It's probably the most challenging time that I've ever sold real estate. The most lucrative and, the most fulfilling and beneficial, but it's competitive out there right now. So, but don't do it for easy money, and don't do it because you enjoy walking through houses. You can, but but that's not going to get you very far with endurance.
Tell me more about that.
Well, sometimes I'll get calls from people that want to be an agent because they love looking at houses. And so if you want to get your license for a hobby, to go peek and look at houses and pay a couple grand a year in hard expenses to have that opportunity, great, go for it. Consider it a hobby. But just liking to look at houses isn't what it takes to succeed as an agent.
Sure. Just like anything, right? You say that about investing. You can't treat your investing business as a hobby, right? Or like, commingle funds. You have to treat it as a business. Same kind of idea, All right. I like that. So what else you got for us?
Okay. So we're becoming a real estate professional. We're using it for personal use, generating sales and reinvesting the profits. That's what we got so far. Okay, this is one of my favorites, generating referral fees. And this has actually become a nice little chunk of my business, which I really appreciate. As you all know, I'm with eXp Realty, which is a national and international brokerage. So we've got 53,000 agents across the nation and now the world. So we've got this huge networking opportunity. I live in a market where we've got a ton of people incoming into Boise, right? So that's one way I network with other agents. And so if anyone out there, an agent, they have people coming to Boise, we'd love the opportunity to serve your clients. And so they come here and then we pay them a referral fee. right? We pay agents a referral fee. So on the opposite end, as a licensed agent, even if you don't want to sell at all, like yourself, and be the total listing agent or buyer's agent, you know people, you have a community, you've networked, particularly in this community, because we're all, you know, connecting with people in general and in the real estate industry. So if you have a license, you can refer out your friends, family, those that you know, to trusted agents that you know in your community or anywhere in the nation. And in doing so, you collect a referral fee. And you cannot do that if you're not licensed. That's illegal. So you need to have a license, and it all runs through the brokerage, but I will refer out. I just had someone referred out in another state. They live here still, but they bought a vacation home elsewhere. I found a great agent. They were thrilled with that agent. We vet the agents, not just hand them off to anyone. Make sure that they're a great fit for our clients and represent us well. But we collect 25, 30%, usually 25% of that commission of the sale.
That's pretty significant.
And sometimes that's a half hour, you know, or if you develop those relationships, it's a quick text back and forth with an agent. You know, I'm sending a great client your way, but you're leveraging relationships with other agents, and you do not have to actively sell to benefit from that.
And isn't that one of like the benefits of like EXP too, right? It's like you're creating this global network where you're not bound by geographical.
Yeah, we've got a whole EXP referral network. And so we'll just, you know, put it out there. And I found an agent in Abilene, Texas this week for someone, you know.
How do you, I mean, I know this is connected, but not exactly one of the reasons, but how do you find that agent that's going to take care of your client? Like, so if you're trying to find them, this is helpful for any woman looking for an investor friendly agent, right?
Right.
Someone who's really going to serve them and help them, like, especially right now, because it is such a crazy market, and, you know, are people going to get back to you? I don't know if that happens. Like, you know, I know for me, I've reached out to a few agents on some vacation rentals, heard nothing. They don't even get back to me, you know?
It's amazing.
So what do you like? Is there some criteria? Yeah. Do you give them some tests? Like, what do you, I'm sure you have something you do that is useful to, like, you know, weed out the ones you don't want to work with.
Yeah. Well, if I'm looking for an agent for an investor client, you know, let's say Boise doesn't work for them, but they want to go to St. Louis, right? Or someplace else where it's a little bit more affordable in the country. The first place I do go is I go to BiggerPockets. Or if I don't find them through BiggerPockets, I ask them if they've heard of BiggerPockets. Yeah. Because, you know, and if they're really investor friendly and they're really claimed to be investor, and
that's a really good litmus test. If you're like, have you heard of BiggerPockets? They'll be like, I have no idea what that is. That's a really, really good point. Like, that's a great point, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing with investors. And then also, you know, look in BiggerPockets. A lot of realtors track, I think, and this is a tip if you're a realtor, if you're thinking of becoming one of the most important things you can do is you can develop a great professional Google presence with actual sales listed on Zillow. Not that I'm a fan of Zillow, but you can put each sale in there to show your past sales.
Sure.
Set up a Google business page. So I'll Google that agent. I mean, it's not science, but Google. And EXP Realty, we've got a group of agents that are called icon agents, in which you've reached a certain level of production. And because I'm an icon agent, I can go into that group and seek other icon agents or those that they recommend in markets. So I definitely vet them. But I don't necessarily have to say that agent has to have 10 years experience, because some of our most eager and professional agents have been in the business for less than 5 years. But I'll call them and I'll interview them to really get a grasp. But they really need to have at least done some sales.
Yeah, and they have to have some like, and I think response is everything, isn't it?
Oh gosh, and yeah.
I mean, not like immediate, right? But like, you know, it takes you like 3 days to get back to someone. Like,
well, here's another thing too. I just left off. This is so obvious, but this site, the investor community, is huge. I see that all the time right now. People looking for other agents, which is part of the reason I'm so excited about building this whole team of agents and community and network, because there's wonderful agents right on the investor community. So
absolutely,
make sure you're putting in your profiles everywhere that, you know, what you do so that people can find you.
Absolutely. And then that's, you know, the goal of growing out the investor base and agent base and referrals and just supporting good women connecting with other good women. So Lauren just joined us. She said, so excited to start this journey with y'all.
Good to see you.
You've connected with Lauren.
Thank you. Your name and beautiful face.
Yes, thanks for being here. All right, so what are we up to?
Lauren is amazing.
We up to 3 or 4? What are we up to?
Oh, we're up to 4. Yeah,
4.
but
all right.
I like it. Just keep it coming. Well, this
all right, what you got?
The last point, it's kind of general, kind of specific to eXp Realty, but also I think just in general with reinvesting and so forth. But at eXp Realty, we've got revenue share and we have stocks that are accumulated, stock purchases and given stocks when you close transactions. And so if one even closes a few deals a year, there's an opportunity to earn stock awards with the company. So that's just another, again, if you're doing your own investing or if you're doing just a few deals a year, it's very beneficial for your long-term wealth building and equity. And then with our revenue share program, what it is just letting other agents know if they're interested in joining your same brokerage and they join, named you as the person that really influenced them to join the brokerage, then you're participating in revenue share where you're just succeeding. If that agent goes ahead and makes a closed transaction, the company rewards you by getting you a little tiny piece of that pie, basically, that the company receives. And so it's just a win-win. What I love about that opportunity and that model is that it's women helping other women succeed. Right. It, and I want to make that like super clear because I think sometimes people think that like if they just hit join and they join a brokerage, then they're making the brokerage all this money or that sort of thing. It doesn't work that way. A brokerage, any brokerage, I don't care which local brokerage, whether you're at KW, RE/MAX, there's a lot of great brokerages out there. It's all about helping agents succeed. And so that's what a brokerage's job is to help an agent succeed. And what eXp does that's a little bit different is it really empowers the agents to help other agents succeed.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things I think, as we were, navigating, because, one of the things on our vision board, Andressa and I, when we started InvestHer, was to have, an arm of our business or doing something with as a brokerage, starting a brokerage, whatever it looked like. But we knew that was a very nice win-win, right? Because you're working with investors and we're building an investor community. Having agents that are connected to that is so important.
Right.
And so we didn't know what that looked like 3 years ago, but it was just something on our vision board.
Well, it all aligns so perfectly. I think all of us as investors, no matter what business you're owning or part of, or what brokerage you're part of, or what, anything in your life, I think it aligns so well with being an investor that we need to look at what's going to make the most sense business-wise for ourselves as we make decisions going forward and move towards our goals. For me, it's like the quicker we can move towards our goals, the better. Well, and I think so analyzing all of that, what makes sense for you.
I think that's a really good point because it's like with anything you do, whether it's an investment decision, real estate agent decision, client decision, fill in the blank. But it's like, you're not just trying to like give to others, which a lot of women do. A lot of women in our community just pour themselves into everyone and everything else. And when it comes,
they don't want to for 10 years
because it's just, and it's like, that's why we're so adamant and like, it kind of runs through our veins, right? Creating the life on your own terms, right? What that looks like. Right. And so, yeah. So anyway, that's very important stuff. We all have to be mindful of because there's only a certain amount of time. And a lot of people want the same things. They want to build wealth. They want residual income. They want multiple streams of income. Who doesn't want those things? Yeah. So how do you do that, right? In an efficient and effective way. But and there's a lot of ways to do it. But all right, so where are we at? We're on 4 or 5. We're done.
Yeah, those are basically the 5 ones. But I guess the biggest thing is if you have an inkling, this all started for me becoming an agent in the first place, started with just an inkling that my wheels started thinking like, how else can I speed up this process? It didn't start. I liked looking at houses, but that's not my intent. My intent, I'll just be out there. And I love serving our clients and building our business and so forth. But I was starting to look, I was teaching school, I love those kids, but I was looking at my next 20 years and what's going to get us from here to there in the quickest amount of time that's going to make the most sense for my family. And I turned to real estate, being a real estate agent as a vehicle. And it turned out to be a huge game changer for our family and our lives. I feel so blessed, and it also gave me an opportunity to be in a career, to treat it as a business, but have a career too that blended so well with being a mom at home. You know, that's a whole different subject, but, you know, down to things like making your own hours, so that I would put my kids' sports appointments in the book, in my calendar as an appointment, you know, and I could do that because I wasn't answering to anyone. And, you know, if you join us at EXP, if you go to any other brokerage, they're not your boss, right? So there's the bad and the good with that, but you got to treat it as a business, and that you're in control of that. And to me, that was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And, you know, just creating your own destiny. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, leveling up and learning. But, you know, that's what's so beautiful about this community that we're creating, is doing it all together and just working towards our goals and our dreams and helping each other and supporting each other.
Absolutely. I'd also say too, like, I think it was like Brian Tracy. I forget what book it was. You know, it's like you read so many different books, you forget who said it.
You're amazing.
But somewhere along the way, I've heard like success leaves clues. So if you see someone who's a successful agent and you're like, you know what? And they have a successful investment business. Well, whatever success looks like to you, right? Success looks so different to everyone. I don't even mean that there's one way success looks like. I really don't. So whatever success looks like to you, find those women, you know, find those agents and ask them, like, what have you done? Why did you get your, you know, license? What's been your path? What are you up to now? Like, I don't think people like seek to understand enough, and they think they have to figure it all out on themselves. I mean, I know a lot of the women we talk to, right? They literally, and I know for myself personally, when I'm at crossroads of things, I try to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And that's like the worst place to try to figure it out. So just a tool is like to look at people in whether it's Facebook, social media, your community, and these are women that you admire and you respect for what they've built. They're an agent, they're an investor, what have you. Seek to understand how they got there, why they got there, why they got their license, how they're using it, what they're doing now. Have they built a team? Are they, you know, I don't know, whatever they're doing with their time. I don't know. But I think that's a really important thing. And it's a simple, really simple thing, is to surround yourself with these people, right? And just to get into conversation. I know for me, that's something that I love doing, is being around other entrepreneurs, be like, how did you do that? You know, I'd love to learn how you did that, you know? So
and
that's important.
Overnight, right? It's not overnight. It's not like you wake up one day and like, oh, I've got a real estate team, or I'm a leader. Like,
right.
It's not there. It's like that. It's that consistency, and that's taking one step in front of the other every single day for years. And
Absolutely.
So I guess if you're out there, if anyone's like, I don't know, feels like, oh, they're just getting started and it's going to be such a long slog. It's not. It goes like this. It goes like this. But if you're consistent, you're taking steps along the way. Yeah, I mean, you're going to look back and you go, holy cow, I made progress, you know?
And it's always progress. I mean, I could say, you know, on the investing side, you know, you make decisions and you have successes, and then you have failures, and you have to work through those, and you just don't give up. But you say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm getting my license for this purpose. And you become really clear on that, and no one's going to get in your way, you know? And I think that's also part of it, is that people sometimes do things because it's the next thing, or, you know, it just seems like a good idea, or they read a bunch of blogs or listen to a bunch of podcasts and they say it's a good idea. Like, you got to, you know, get information, seek to understand, and then what works for you and your family. I think that's important.
You don't have to have it all planned out either. Like,
no.
I just want to throw that in. You know, it's one, like I said, it's one step in front of the other. Maybe maybe you're just kind of like, you know, maybe thinking about that license right now. So you take the next step, you find out more, you know, and it's not all going to come clear all at once, but just trust. As women, we're really intuitive.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You know, just
the next right thing, right?
Of your next step. And you all know what it's like to be sitting in a job or in a career path where you're just like slogging through.
And not having that passion and that, like, kind of, you know, because, you know, life is short, right? And we know that, but there's a lot of ways to make money, and you have to do things that, and then the one thing too, and I think you mentioned it too a little bit, John, as we wrap up, like, your natural tendencies is you're such a builder of relationships. So I think there's probably agents that are builders of relationships, natural extroverts. There's also very successful ones that are not that way. And, you know,
Right.
in terms of like being a little more like, you know, more risk taking or more technical, and they know the analytics of the market and they really go out there. And so, you know, don't be stopped by your personality if you're shy or this or that. I bet you there are successful agents, EXP,
Oh,
any of the great brokerages out there that have all different personalities. So don't ever use
the best type to work with investors, by the way.
because they're no nonsense. That would make complete sense, you know, because they are, and they're actually the drivers of things usually.
Right.
They don't smile a lot, but they're just like, they get things done. Right. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I want you to think about yourself. Don't feel stopped by any of those kinds of like limitations, which I think we all can do. Like, oh, I'm not friendly like that, or I don't like to public speak, or whatever it is for you. Like, you got greatness. Know that. That's what we're all about. You have amazingness. You have greatness. It's a matter of figuring out, how does this align with in my goals? Does getting a license make sense for me right now? It's not like, you know, 50 years. And then take baby steps, like Jonna's amazingly saying and just eloquently saying. It's just like the next right thing. And this has aligned to my investing goals. Because if you're on our community, you want to invest as well. And the two work so nicely together. So any questions, please shoot them to us. But we appreciate Jill and Lauren and Sarah, Alona being here with us, and then all the women joining us here tonight who's going to watch this. But hope you got some nuggets. There's no right and wrong with getting a real estate license. There really isn't. But I think it really has to do with, you know, you said so well, Jonna, is like, how's this going to benefit me today and my family and my goals? Because wealth building is a big goal. It doesn't happen overnight. I could tell you that from experience of 15 years. It doesn't happen overnight. Active income leads to passive income. And I don't care what the active income is, as long as it's legal, of course. Again, bad joke. But it's Friday evening. We're wrapping up, so I could just keep saying bad jokes here. But it is active income spilling into passive is the goal, is the game. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of ways to do that. And why wouldn't you? What would behoove you to say, I could do it in a business that's connected to investing? To me, that's a beautiful thing. So again, that was something I wish we did early on, but we didn't. So you know.
You've done okay, Liz. You've done okay.
Yeah, you learn a lot. You move through things and you figure it out, right? And you learn from your mistakes, and you're able to share them with other people. And I think that's what's beautiful about what we're building with our Investor EXP team, is that it's obviously agencies the core, but the investing piece is so important, and that's why we're going to be doing masterminds and coaching, and there's so many resources and content we've created for our Investor EXP team, which I'm really, really excited about. And I know you're excited about. So if you want to check that out. Go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. You can check out, you know, everything we need to on our EXP team. John is our lead there.
I've been having so much fun with talking with all of you that have been inquiring and calling.
Very cool.
You're setting up a call, and I'm happy to do that. And we'll just have a look at your life, your business, what makes sense for you. If it's where you are right now, if you want to investigate moving over, if you just want advice on whether to become an agent, I'm here for it.
In general.
Here for it.
And that's why Jonna is our partner in that, because she's not just going to be like, so do you want to join or not? Like, that's not who we are as people. It's not what we are as a community. We're pumped about EXP. They're an amazing organization and a company I'm honored to be part of. But you got to always consider what's working for you, what's right for you. And that's what we're all about as people and as leaders of this organization of investors. So thanks for joining us tonight. Ooh, just took my thing out. Oh. I'm getting crazy here.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. My thing just came out. But thanks for being here with us tonight. Thank you for you know, we're going to be doing more of these lives. John is an amazing resource. We're going to be bringing into more topics of various things. She's going to be part of our virtual summit, so check that out, June 12th.
Yes, we'll see you all at the summit. Can't wait.
Yes, that's going to be amazing. And thank you for being here tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we so appreciate you.